guys, and welcome to day 44 of our 365 Days of Courage, where we try to encourage one another every day for a year with God's words in the Bible, looking for verses that assures us not to be afraid, to fear nothing, and to take courage. Our verse for today is taken from the book of Genesis, chapter 43, verse 23. Anong sabi doon? Don't worry. Don't be afraid. Your God, the God of your father, must have put the money in your sacks for you. Okay? So, tungkol saan itong verse natin na ito? Well, nandun pa tayo sa portion kung saan Joseph, who was sold by his brothers, ended up in Egypt, becoming the governor or parang administrator ng lugar. And then there was famine, and then everybody was going to Egypt to purchase some goods kasi famine nga, so walang makain. So now, Joseph's brothers went to Egypt for the first time to buy food. And then, nung pag-uwi nila, habang sila ay nagpapahinga along the way, one of them decided to open his sack. And nakita niya, bakit andito yung ibinayad ko? And all the others, all the rest of the brothers, opened their sacks and saw na yung kanilang ibinayad dun sa goods na nakuha nila, na nakalagay dun sa kanilang mga sako, was andun. Yung pinambayad nila. So, Joseph's brothers were all terrified kasi baka mapagbintangan sila na ninakaw nila yung goods na dala-dala nila. Kasi bakit nandun yung pera? So, di ba kapag bibili ka naman, iabot mo yung pera, iabot nila sa'yo yung binili mo, and then, yun. But in their case, nakita nila, yun yung pinambayad nila is returned in their sacks. And so, syempre, natatakot sila, but then, they were already halfway going home. And so, syempre, ang ginawa nila, umuwi na lang sila, and they told their father about it. And of course, yung tatay din naman nila, was also afraid, and so nung naubos na yung kanilang supply, sinabihan na naman niya yung kanyang mga anak na pumunta ulit sa Egypt, and this time is dalhin nila yung naunang pera plus dagdagan pa nila yung kanilang baon just in case nga na sila ay mahuli or mapagbintangan na nagnakaw. So at least meron silang backup plan. And so this time nung bumalik na sila dun, Joseph instructed his servants na ihanda yung bahay niya para dun kumain yung kanyang mga kapatid. And syempre, kung special treatment ka sa isang lugar na ikaw ay stranger, na magpapanik ka, bakit kaya? It could have something to do about the money. So syempre, inunahan na nila yung servant, kaya nila sinabi na, pumunta kami dito noon, and then ganito yung nangyayari, and then that is when our verse was uttered by the servant to Joseph's brothers. And sinabi niya doon, huwag kayong matakot, huwag kayong mag-alala, dahil baka yung Diyos ninyo, the God of your father, siya ang naglagay ng pera doon sa inyong mga sako. Now, kung titingnan natin, instead of taking revenge sa kanyang mga kapatid, Joseph did the opposite, at hindi lang yun. He did the unthinkable. What was the unthinkable na ginawa niya? Being generous to his brothers. Despite his brothers planning to kill him, despite his brothers selling him as a slave, he was still generous to them, giving them back yung pera na pinambayad nila dun sa goods. You see, it takes extraordinary character of a person to be able to do that. But of course, we all know that God was always with Joseph. And that is why hindi naman niya naisip na paghigantihan yung kanyang mga kapatid. Bagkus he missed them, he loved them, and yun, he was even generous to them. And those are the gifts that we gain from having faith or trusting God. But now, let's go to the topic on generosity. Now, minsan, tayo, kapag nagigipit tayo, or we are down to our last penny, the tendency is nagiging madamot tayo. The tendency is we focus more on our need than on the need of others. Kasi kulang na nga eh, 'di ba? Yung para bang wala nang natitira sa iyo, and then hihingin pa, yung ang iisipin mo is kulang pa nga ito para sa ibibigay ko pa ba sa iyo. The tendency is we hoard. Magiging madamot tayo, and we refuse to be generous because natatakot tayo na baka pag naubos na, wala na. Ibig sabihin, natatakot tayo magbigay dahil baka tayo yung mawalan. But then, our first reading for today, taken from the second letter of Paul to the Corinthians, chapter 9, verses 6 to 11, I will be focusing on verse 10. Anong sabi doon? And God, who supplies the seed for the sower and bread to eat, will also supply you with all the seed you need, and will make it grow and produce a rich harvest from your generosity. Ibig sabihin, we can never outgive God. Ibig sabihin, if we are down to our last penny, huwag tayong matakot na maging mapagbigay pa rin, na maging generous pa rin. Because that would mean that we trust that God will provide what we need. And this is what Paul was saying to the Corinthians. Ang Diyos na laging nagbibigay ng iyong mga pangangailangan, ibibigay niya yan sa'yo para yung ibibigay niya maparami mo by becoming generous. Pero syempre, di ba, ang hirap magtiwala kung hindi tayo sigurado. Ang hirap magtiwala kung hindi natin alam kung totoo ba talaga ito. But then God is saying, go on, tempt me, subukan mo ko. Pero di ba nakakatakot na subukan ang Panginoon? And therefore, pagka nandito tayo sa ganitong kalagayan, guys, if you're experiencing drought, if you're experiencing famine in your finances right now, God is asking you to trust Him and keep on being generous just the same. Because God will supply all your need. And He will do that so that it will grow through your own generosity. Ibig sabihin, we become channels of blessings of God at magiging blessing din tayo sa ibang tao because yung ibibigay ni God sa atin, pararamihin natin para mas marami ang makikinabang. And so therefore, our verse for today says, do not worry. Sinabi ng servant ni Joseph yan sa kanyang mga kapatid, saying, baka si God ang naglagay ng pera sa sako ninyo. Paul's letter to the Corinthians is also saying that we should trust God because He who supplies all our need for the sower. We are the sower. Tayo yung nagtatanim. Ibibigay niya yung seed na itatanim natin. And so therefore, huwag tayong matakot na maging generous. Even if we are down to our last penny. Even if yung gagamitin mo na lang para sa sarili mo is hinihingi pa nila, sige lang. Because God is asking you to trust Him that He will provide yung mga pangangailangan mo. Kaya, huwag kang matakot. Do not worry. Do not be afraid. Trust that just like the servant saying to Joseph's brothers, yung sinabi niya, it must be God, your God, the God of your father, who put all those money in your sacks. We trust that our God will do the same for us. And that we will never run out of seed to plant. We will never run out of blessings to prosper. We will never run out of blessings to give to others, so we could also bless others. And so, yun ang mensahe sa atin ngayon, guys. Alright? Do not be afraid. Do not be afraid. Trust. Trust in God. Tiwala lang tayo. Sinabi niya sa kanyang mga salita mismo. And so, we just have to trust Him. Okay? Alright. So, once again, thank you guys for watching. And tune in tomorrow. Bukas may bisita na naman tayo. Excited na ako for tomorrow because another youth will be sharing her insight about our word, our verse for tomorrow, day 45 of our 365 Days of Courage. Bye, guys!